All right, so this is how living frugally has built me a liquid net worth of 1.2 million by 27 years old. I'm going to walk you through everything step by step, my entire story, the lessons I learned, but most importantly, how you can replicate these exact same things in your own life to hopefully replicate the same. So obviously a good chunk of this has been by increasing my income through my cash flow business while also simultaneously keeping my expenses extremely low for a very long time. So if you're interested in learning how to start your own freelance agency business, scale to $5,000 a month, I can help you get there. It's very beginner friendly. We could start with just making your first few grand a month online and go from there. So I've helped a ton of people build this as a side income, place their salary. Apply below if you're interested. That's it. Shameless plug over. Let's rewind to late 2017, early 2018. I'm 19 years old. I just landed my first real kind of quote unquote job at a startup in the real estate space, making about $3,000 a month. Now, again, that's not life-changing money at all. It wasn't back then. It sure as hell isn't today. But the thing that made all the difference was my expenses were practically non-existent. I was very lucky in that sense. I'm going to talk about that in a second. My phone bill, my Ubers for to and from the office, because I didn't have a car at the time, maybe lunch out once or twice a week. That was literally it. No rent for a little bit because I was living with my stepmom. I eventually did start to pay room and board, which was good. That did take a good chunk of my expenses, but for a while I didn't. There was no crazy shopping sprees, no crazy, flashy purchases, nothing. And because of that, I was able to invest 50% of every single paycheck that I made. And I wasn't saving or investing for just the sake of that. I had a very clear goal. I was very, very interested and heavy in real estate at that point. So I wanted to use that money to buy it. So every dollar I put away had that purpose. And that's kind of critical, right? I saved to obviously invest in something, not just to hoard cash. This is something that I think a lot of people, specifically young people, are missing nowadays. Your money will literally erode away through inflation if you just let it sit in a checking account. At the bare minimum, keep it in a high yield so you're at least breaking even with inflation and taxes. But ideally, you want your money working for you, especially when you're young. You've got time on your side and that kind of thing. So every other Friday, when I got paid, I had this ritual. I'd wake up, my eyes were literally half asleep. I hadn't even pissed yet. Didn't brush my teeth, nothing. I literally checked my phone. It's pretty bad looking back at it, but I checked my phone, confirmed my paycheck, hit my checking account, and then immediately I went over to my Wealth Simple account, which is a brokerage here in Canada, but you could do the exact same thing, and I immediately transferred 50% of my net after-tax pay into my investment account to buy Vanguard index funds. It didn't matter if I got a bonus that month, if it was just my regular salary, a little bit of both. The first thing I did was invest, no questions asked. And obviously, I could have easily spent that money on clothes, going out, trying to look successful, which I know a lot of my friends did, but obviously I chose to invest for the hopefully 10, 20-year future, even smaller than that because I wanted to purchase real estate. But point is, the future, okay? And physically seeing that money leave my account every 2 weeks and knowing it was going somewhere that I would compound and grow was what fired me up. That's what got me out of bed. That's what kept me going to work, even when I didn't really want to. I didn't love this job, but I knew it was building my skills, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes, and it was more importantly allowing me to use this money. So platforms like Robinhood and, like I said, Wealth Simple, they do have auto invest features, which I think is great for guys that are getting really good consistent cash flow and you've built that discipline. But honestly, for every beginner listening to this, I think there is massive, massive value in doing it manually. When you're typing in $1,500 or $2,000 transferring to your brokerage account, you feel the weight of that decision. It becomes real. It forces you to take it seriously, sit down and even take a deep breath. That manual process ingrained the habit in me in a way that I don't think automation could have ever done. I don't think I would have gone off track, but this really helped me stay on there. So I understand, obviously, not everyone can invest 50% of pay. Some people can't even do 30%. I get it. If that's you, I empathize to a certain level, but take this information and obviously adapt it, okay? Adapt it to your situation. Invest what you can. At the absolute minimum, get your money in the market. Not financial advice. I'm not telling you to trade or do anything crazy, but don't time the market. The system is designed to work against you. I will fully admit that. The only way you're going to beat it is in your own reality. Get your money working for you so you're not grinding for the rest of your life, okay? So obviously fast forward a few years of doing this consistently, investing every paycheck, reinvesting dividends. I stayed very disciplined at my job too, so I stayed there for it was my first real job until I quit, began my own business. The market performed obviously incredibly well. I was very, luck obviously played a massive role. I got a few raises along the way as I continued building that, but I had eventually 50 grand saved up, ready to deploy. And after about a month and a half of hitting that milestone, a pre-construction townhome started selling in my neighborhood about 10 minutes away from my actual house. And with everything I knew about real estate, my gut was screaming at me, this was the opportunity. It was near the highway, close to colleges and great schools, good neighborhoods, in a very appealing area, an upcoming area, and all the fundamentals were there. I knew this was going to appreciate. This is 2020, summer 2020, before the big boom. And this was all my money at the time, but I wanted to see if that bet would pay off, and it did, big time. I was very lucky. I went to the sales center. I wrote the the post-dated checks. I signed the paperwork. 2 years later, when it closed, I sold for 120,000 net profit. And I didn't rent it out. I didn't do anything because you didn't have to. I just bought it early. I sit on it and let them build it while it appreciated in the background. The thing is, what would have happened if I didn't have that 50 grand saved or invested at the time? Nothing, right? The opportunity probably would have just passed me by, slipped through my fingers, which a couple other investment opportunities did too. And that was really frustrating. So there's no way I would have had that capital if I'd been blowing that money on stupid shit to impress people. But because I stayed set my grounds and discipline, I kept my eyes on obviously the couple year horizon. I was ready when that opportunity came, right then and there. I waited at that freaking sales center for 3 hours and it didn't matter. I knew I was going to have my hands on this. So it's the only one part of the story, right? That the majority of my net worth didn't actually come from investments. I don't think for most people it does, at least for not till they're in their very late 40s and 50s. It came from cash flow of a service-based business I own. To give you full honesty, from March 2022 until now, I've been earning roughly 20 to 25 grand per month in profit at minimum, sometimes more. And my personal expenses are were only 3 grand a month, maybe up until very recently. It's been about 5 grand a month for the last 6 or 7 months. You do the math, right? Over that amount of time with not much, of course, I still lived life. I still had full quality grass-fed meats. I still had grocery delivery. I have cleaners come every single time. I have a paid off car, so I'm not getting a ton of money in there. I still buy nice things from time to time. But even after taxes, you build up a serious nest egg by doing this, right? That's one of my biggest regrets is I know I should have invested more of that cash. I'm going to do a video on this soon, but I was planning on buying a business. So I sat on so much cash for a long time. I'm going to do a full portfolio breakdown soon, but that's one of my biggest regrets. But other than that, I'm so focused on stacking cash and building the skill set while my business did a ton of success that I didn't deploy capital as efficiently as I should have. But the discipline of keeping expenses low made all the difference here. So yes, while cash flow played a big play here, if I wasn't frugal, anyone can make cash flow. It's one thing to actually preserve it and or grow it outside of that, right? So the discipline of keeping that made all the difference. And I understand, I want you to understand, being frugal in your mid-20s is about freaking depriving yourself, right? Don't just do that. Do what I did. It's about prioritizing what matters. This is your time to build wealth, to develop your skills, put yourself in a position to win. I still went on vacations, still went out to nice dinners, quality clothes, all that kind of stuff. But my core expenses were so low that I was stacking a ton of money month after month without sacrificing my quality of life. And fast forward to today, the interest alone on my net worth generates a few grand a month, right? I could literally sit in bed all day, technically do nothing, and I would still be financially secure. And that's, I think, what it's all about. That's what the whole thing is about, right? Freedom. Freedom isn't about, I'm a big car guy. It's not about Lambros, Lamborghinis, and yachts and all that stupid shit. It's about being able to stick it to the man, if I so please, which I did, or do whatever you want and screw off, have 0 meetings on the calendar, take a Friday afternoon off, go to the gym, which I go to the gym at 1 p.m. every day. I sometimes sleep in. I haven't set an alarm in almost 4 years. I want everyone watching this to experience that same feeling, and I 100% guarantee it's possible. I'll talk about that in a second, but there's a video that I rewatched. It hit my algorithm again recently by Woody's Gamer Tagged. I was watching it first when I was I was 12 years old, maybe 13 years old. It's called Thank You. I'll throw up a screenshot right here. At the time, I didn't get it. I was very confused on why he'd make a video with that title. It made no sense to me, but again, it hit my algorithm recently and it clicked. He was thanking his audience for giving him the ability to go have lunch with his wife on a Wednesday afternoon. And I think another reason was he was able to take his daughter to soccer practice or something at the random time of the day or some appointment. That is freedom. That's what YouTube money bought him. Obviously it bought him a nice house and cars and freedom and stuff, but after all these years, I understood it. Like I said, I love cars. I'm going to be buying an R8 next spring, but my freedom is worth 1 million R8s. I will take freedom every single day of the week, and I hope you understand that too, that you don't need to invest insane amounts of money to make this happen. You don't need to start the next Facebook. You really, truly don't. You need to start small, stay consistent, let compounding do the heavy lifting for you. That compounding can come through ads in your business, through cold emails in your business, which is what I obviously teach on, which is investing. There's a whole bunch of different factors of what this can do. And only recently did I upgrade my lifestyle. I moved into that nicer apartment about a year ago. I improved my day-to-day quality of life, but I still don't have a crazy car, and I don't do anything that lavish because I don't need to, right? So Let me break down how you can replicate this, like in three very, very clear steps, because I genuinely believe anyone could do this with the right approach. And that's the key term. You can't just go out, flashing everything. You got to do this right. Okay. So step one, live frugally, regardless of your income. I don't care if you're making $3,000 a month like I was. If you're making 10 grand a month, it doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. Your goal should be to keep expenses as low as humanly possible while you're in build mode. Okay. Live with roommates if you have to. Hormozy did this. I think Becker did this. A lot of very successful people that we know and listen to did this exact same thing. Drive a beater car, cut the subscriptions you don't use, cook at home, and maybe even get Chipotle if you really freaking need to offset that if you need to work more. Every dollar you're not spending is a dollar that can go to work for you. Okay. The lifestyle upgrades, that shit can come later. Trust me. Right. They'll mean so much more when you're doing it from a position of strength too, when you actually want that and you've actually earned it. It feels better as a man to get there. I promise you. Okay. Step two, invest what you can, but I would even pressure you to invest 50% of your income. Okay. If you can't do 50, do 30. Can't do 30, do 20, but I really want you to get there. And that's going to go into my third point in a second, but make it automatic, make it non-negotiable. That money needs to go into, index funds as a general beginner rule. Do your own research on that. Set up a brokerage account into assets that will compound over time. It's very simple. Treat it like a bill you have to pay every single month, not like an expense, and treat it like it isn't even yours. That is how you build your foundation of money, your foundation of wealth, not through the get rich quick crypto pump bullshit, not through any of that stuff, but through actual consistent, disciplined investing over time. And then step three, this is the big one, increase your income aggressively, because the reality is you can only cut so much expenses. I've talked about this in my other videos, but your income potential is unlimited, right? And the fastest way to increase your income is to freelance your skills as a service, or in my opinion, get into sales. If you don't have any skills, that's totally fine. My beginner experience or mentorship is get into sales. Okay. If you have any skill, I don't care if it's writing, design, video editing, social media management, web development, appointment setting, it doesn't matter. Even admin work, you can freelance it. Start an Upwork or Fiverr, do some cold outreach to businesses in your area, charge, $500 for a project, $1,000 for a project, and then slowly start to build your portfolio, build your assets, your case studies, get testimonials, and scale. That's how you go from, you can even just start with $500. That first $500 a month for me was absolutely life-changing. It gave me the motivation to continue and get my $1,000 a month retainer. And guess what? Well, simultaneously, oh shit, that $1,000 a month pays for my food and my gas this month. Holy shit, this $2,200 pays for my rent. This is insane. That's real money, right? That's real money that can be invested and get into freedom and have all these other nice things. Or worst case, if you don't want to do that, if you're really just not interested in owning the business, you can help somebody else's business by getting into sales. And I don't give a shit if it's tech sales, real estate, insurance, car, I don't care. Sales will teach you how to communicate, how to handle rejection, and most importantly, it'll teach you how to make good money. A good salesperson makes good, solid six figures, multi six figures. And if you combine that income, like I said, with the frugal lifestyle and disciplined investing, you're going to accelerate your wealth building by years. You can do this like I did in 3 years. I built most of this in the course of 3 years, but you could do it even sooner than me. Trust me, you can have a big edge over myself. So the point is just attack your income from every single angle. Don't settle just for your 9 to 5. I did that for years. And then I was in a blessed position to where my boss's company shut down. He willingly shut it down, and I was able to have his blessing to go after those clients myself. I was in a very good position, but I probably wouldn't even done that if that didn't happen. So I'm so glad it did. I'm telling you from experience, build something on the side, learn a high income skill, get scrappy. I don't give a shit. You could do all of this for free. The more you can earn and the less you can spend, the faster you will hit your financial goals. Not just that, but your just financial freedom, dude. I promise you. So if you take even a few principles, honestly, from this video and apply them to your own life, it will genuinely change everything. I promise you. Start investing what you keep or what you can. Get your expenses as lean as possible. Most importantly, find ways to increase every single dollar of income that you possibly can every single month. So as always, if you made it this far, I want to see you win. I'm rooting for you. We will see you in the next one.